Packhorse Trail. It's a 47-kilometre route. It's about 1,600 metres of climb and goes from Sheffield to Hayfield, or the other way around, whichever way you want to run it. But it links to two places, and there's an ancient bridleway that ran between those 2 points. That was listed in the 1270 Furnivall Charter and describes the stopping points along the route as Edale, Derwent, Hoardenstones, Moscar and Stannington. So we've followed that route, found the sort of packhorse bridges and guideposts along the route, and with a lot of research and a lot of time running various parts of it and finding the actual old paths along the route, we've managed to recreate an old Packhorse Trail. Hopefully have. The peak Packhorse period was the 1650s to 1800s, and it tailed off as cheaper forms of transport came along, like the railways and canals. But until that point, it was really the best way to move heavy goods across the hills. The main sort of products are things like salt, iron ore, tools, and wool. And for obvious reasons, I chose to use a bale of wool to carry. I didn't fancy carrying 20 kilos of iron ore on the back, but it made it easier to sort of connect and think about what I was actually recreating by carrying a bale of wool across the meadow. I got a few funny looks and the odd sort of cheer as I came along. I think somebody had heard what I was doing, but most people were just interested in why I was travelling through there with such a bale of wool on your back, why you're there and where you're going. So I've been running and walking through this landscape through the Peak District all my life, and I've never really noticed or understood why the paths were where they were and why the settlements and key places were where they were until I looked into this historic connections. You think of Edale, it's at the top of a valley, at the head of a valley that leads nowhere, but it's quite large, and it's only that large because there's constant flow of traffic, trade, people, and that's created some of the communities that we've got. Derwent would have been similar, bigger, but that's gone after Ladybower. I think it's important for us not to lose or forget this history of why these places are where they are, the paths we've got, what created them. I think we need to reconnect with that in some places. It's very easy to lose that and for them to be taken over by farmland, development, just modern life stepping in the way. And keeping these footpaths and links, exploring these places, is an important part of who we are and the country we have. Good, slightly anticipation. I won't say nervous because it's a fairly long way. Keep extending the route. The weather isn't great.
No, it's a bit colder than we.
Yeah, it is. It's drizzling already, but it's not meant to rain until midday. I hope it doesn't rain too much. The phone's not waterproof. Like a good phone. This is the Packhorse Trail. Starting from Packhorse. The Hayfield first mentioned this pub was first mentioned in 1577. It's been used as sort of a meeting place to trade animals, exchange animals for centuries. The route from here over to Sheffield is quite well defined. There's crosses along the way. The first point is heading up here to Edale. We're going to go up over the top just to the bottom of Kinderlow. Next stop hopefully is Edale in an hour and 10 minutes. That's digging into my stomach. Marvellous.
stay safe.
Yeah.
I've got my phone if you need me.
Here we can see Bowden Bridge, which is circa sort of 18th century, but doesn't appear to be in the right place because there's no obvious path from there over Edale, unless there used to be a bridge further downstream, further upstream. Possibly it was moved when the industrial works started in the valley. So instead of crossing Bowden Bridge and going on the path up the side, I'm going to stick on Edale Road, follow it up. There's a couple more bridges up to Caldwell Clough. See the hills rising in the background in the mist. Caldwell Clough bends around and up behind this line of fields up onto the tops. It's an obvious place to go. It's an obvious route to take. It's Caldwell Clough Farm. This is a site of a medieval cross, one of the first ones on the route. It's no longer here anymore. It seems to disappear sometime in the 20th century and unfortunately gone without trace, but this is a site of Caldwell Clough guidepost or marker stone. The marker stone here kind of signifies the start of the climb up onto the hills, making sure that you take the right route. Of course that shouldn't have been a problem for anyone experienced. You never know. Alright, we're not stopping for this one. There's a climb up from Caldwell Clough. It's long, it's steep, but you know, there's nothing to complain about. It's lovely, peaceful and quiet. That's Kinder Low, just on the edge of the route. Kinder Low's a Bronze Age burial site from early Bronze Age, I think, so 3,500 years old on the top of that. And in the mist, you can see why that held some sort of sacred and spiritual sort of centre for people here. That's fantastic. Here we are, first medieval cross on the route, Edale Cross. This is dating from around, I think, 900 to 1500. I think this one is thought to be from the 12th century. It's certainly quite an impressive thing, you know, this far out up on the hills. This would have been quite a feat to get this all the way up here, and it stood for hundreds of years, if not 1,000 years. So yeah, bottom of Jacob's Ladder, here's the Packhorse Bridge. You can see they're very low arches over mountain streams, and they're also very narrow with pretty low sides. I imagine this has been built up slightly, but not much, and that's to allow pack horses to cross with their packs either side. And that's Jacob's Ladder up there. Jacob's Ladder is named after a man from the 1800s who decided to build the steps, so it's reputed anyway. He lived on a farm off to the left and built the steps to make it easier for people to get up while the horses went round the long way up the zigzag. Now on the Pennine Way from Upper Booth to Edale, there's a little bit of a climb up the side of the hill and then drop back down to Edale. The sun's starting to come out, clouds are breaking up. It might turn out to be a better day than I thought. Hey, it's a bit tough going up Colville Clough. I've not been up there for a while. Just Nag's Head, the old Nag's Head, and it's an obvious stopping point on the route for travellers. But the booths, including Edale, there's Upper Booth, Nether Booth, they were all they were sort of seasonal places for people with livestock to graze during the summer, and then they would retreat back down the valley in the winter. And then eventually, obviously, they became more settled. But this is an obvious stopping point, and there's a beautiful bridge, Gibraltar Bridge, just down there. Bit of rubbish. Put that in the bin. Oh yeah, can't get rid of that. Kids will want that card. Right. That's quite a big climb for out Jaggers Clough. Yeah, it might have been pushing too hard on there. Hopefully won't regret that. So I've made it to Hope Cross, the second of our big sort of crosses on the route. From here you could look all the way up Edale Valley, and you've got the ridge up to Mamtor, and possibly the possible old Roman road called Doctor's Gate. Though some people think the Doctor's Gate comes from a doctor from Glossop, given the parish of Woodlands Valley, Bamford, Hathersage, and so to make his passage easier had this road built, or parts of this road built. So it's an unknown basically as to what was the original reason for this track that crosses our bridleway.
good, but tiring. Starting to feel it a bit now. What am I on? 13 miles, so pretty much halfway. So this path leads straight down, and we've got the site of Derwent village underneath Ladybower. At Derwent village there was a large bridge to cross, and that was taken down when Ladybower was eventually built in the 30s, and it was stored for 20 years, and it was only in I think 53 that the whole group of various people got together with the waterboard and put the bridge back at Slippery Stones at the top of Howden Reservoir. So you can still see that bridge, and that bridge used to be in Derwent, and you can see why it was the main crossing point. It was a big bridge, it's clearly quite a big river, but that was the best way to cross. You can see down at the base of the valley coming across. I'll show you that from the other side. Get the Sheffield strip show on. That means my naked torso.
We've got sandwiches.
I'm tempted to put my yellow jacket in. I've got my coat in my bag this time, which is interesting. This only goes on if it's actually raining. It's just going to keep me warm. One of the changes I made to the route is it goes up to that little barn you see amongst the trees.
Oh yeah.
I'm going up there now. So we're looking across the site of where Derwent village used to be, towards the car park where I've just met Callum and Ross to get some food and water. I don't know how well this will come out at the top of the clough, Grindle Clough, and we're going to go off up this path and round by the wall all the way across to Winston Tor. There is another possible route which I found, but the access isn't quite so certain about whether you can use that, and that follows that ridgeline there down the hill into the woods. Well, zigzags down the hill and then into the woods. This route we're on is a nice bridleway, so it's all good. It's a stunning view whichever way you go.
What are they?
Yo-yo bears! Free little info card with everyone.
Oh.
Food champions. Cutthroat Bridge got its name from 1635. A man was found here with obvious wounds, and he was carried down to Bamford, where eventually died from his wounds, unable to tell anyone what had happened. It's assumed he was robbed by bandits and left for dead. So that's why it's Cutthroat Bridge. It used to be higher up and got moved for the construction of Mortimer Road, which was done much later, 19th century. Well, this is the Hordran, the 7 stones of Hordran, stone circle, which is Bronze Age. I think it's early Bronze Age, so again it's 3,500 years old. They discovered there was more than 7 stones when they, I think it was a drought year, and they ended up with doing some investigations. This is the fairy stone, the biggest stone in the circle. Its outline is said to be similar to Win Hill in the background, and there's a little dish on top where you leave an offering to the gods, presumably spirits. It's just a really atmospheric place, and it's hard to understand how people made this and used this 3,500 years ago. The landscape would have been very different, but this is a long way from being like best of times. Yeah, the ancient bridleway that's listed in the 1297 charter, the Furnival Charter, described the route as going from Edale to Derwent, past the Hordern Stone Circle, into Moscar and High Riggs. But what is wrong with people? Leaving litter everywhere. Just have to tighten up. See you in a bit.
See you later.
On the last climb, well, for a while, up onto Moscar Cross, or where the Moscar Cross is, which is our second to last medieval marker and cross. As you can see, the cloud and the weather has come in, and it's raining on and off, but it's still quite nice. I'm just glad that hill's done. They're getting harder with each climb. So here we are at nearly the last fully intact guidepost and cross. This is another medieval cross, Moscar Cross, that's been converted to a guidepost. Around about the 18th century, they all had to erect guideposts, all the local parishes and what have you, to guide people across the hills and the bridleways. And that's presumably when the names got carved in it. We got Hatherton and Sheffield, and just away over there, if it wasn't quite so misty, and we'd be able to see the Hordern Stone Circle, or the hill that it's on. So this is in quite a crucial area. You can see in a lot of places. That's where I'm going next. So this is Rodside, which leads into the Riggs High Road. This Rod side is an old term for cleared land, or adjacent to cleared land. So this high ground would have been drier and easier to get passage through. Down the bottom, the Riverlin Valley was apparently just an impenetrable forest. A57 was built in the 1850s. Packhorse still used to use this road because it was free and they didn't have to pay the tolls. This road was as good as anything else. No, I'm not a big fan of tarmac. I'll see how my legs cope, but I've got to follow the route. Last bit went surprisingly quickly, but my legs were cramping all the way in various places, so I'm hoping that eases off. Just try and get some salt in, some water. Yeah, I've just got to try and stay warm, but it's getting colder as evening draws closer. It's getting colder. We've got a few miles of Riggs High Road, and then we'll be in town. Yeah, where it gets a whole lot more interesting. We're dodging cars and stuff. The next stop is Stannington Cross. About halfway along Riggs High Road. Sheffield's just hoving into view in distance, so sort of suburbs. Obviously Sheffield wasn't there to that extent at all. The last medieval cross on the route, Stan Cross, Stannington Cross, a number of names. Just slightly hidden away in this Tony Aster growing here. But I love the fact it's still here, marking its way, showing the way down into Sheffield. It's great. Nearly there. Just coming down to Hollands Bridge. Now, Packhorse Trail could split in many ways as it comes down into Sheffield itself. There's Mailing Bridge off to the side. You can go out further towards the Don. But this is the route I think we would have taken to get across to Sheffield town itself and the main centre of the area. It's a very modern bridge now, it's very busy, so I'm going to turn the camera on before I get run over. Just climbing up Walkley Bank from Hollands Bridge. This is the last hill on the route, and it's steep. I'm not sure whether there have been zigzags or this part of the route. It's disappeared under years of the city expanding over the top of it. And some of the old routes are still there. Heavygate Road will go along in a minute. You can see Stannington behind and the route we've taken. So I've just come down the steps into Crooks Valley Park. This is the site of the old Great Dam, as it was called. Obviously now there's a small lake left in the bottom, but this, I would have been on the dam wall where I am now. And this was believed, along with a couple of other dams, to provide all the water Sheffield would ever need in around, I think, mid-1800s. As we get further in Sheffield, more and more of it's changed. I'm now going to cut through the University of Sheffield past the Arts Tower, because the main road, Porter Street I think it's called, wasn't there like on the 1850s maps. It was just basically not a route. There was a road across here, I think. I can't remember what that was called, but this road across here was the main link onto Broad Lane, which was, and has been for a long time, the main road into Sheffield from this western side. Done it.
Well, it's done.
Done it. 29 miles.
Trail.
7 hours. And delivering a bag of wool.
Yeah.
To survive. Oh, and it still smells good. It smells as fresh as it did when I sheared the sheep.
Yeah.
Sheffield Centre was just over there. Sheffield Castle was supposed to be just down there, though there's no remains of it anywhere because it was destroyed after the Civil War. But yeah, this would have been a key area. Feels good to have finished. It's been a long day. It's a long route. Perhaps longer than I appreciated when I first started looking into this. And yeah, I think now that I've run along it, you can see it is quite a faithful route to the old Packhorse Trail. There's various alternatives, I think, to some bits of it, but that's done the best we can with the route we've got and what's left today. So the bit in Sheffield is quite hidden behind sort of what's changed over the years, but you can still make out the route it's taken. There are still the busy paths, so in their particular sections, because now we go out and do smaller stuff, no one runs across the Pennines anymore. I mean, not normally anyway. So, but yeah, there's in each section they're very busy, popular routes, and the guideposts are still in crucial places where people essentially need a focal point to change direction onto another path, another route. They're all still relevant. Yeah. People should do it. Maybe not all in one go. I mean, you shouldn't feel like you have to do it in one go to enjoy it. But it is a good length to do in one day. Just get the train out there and take your time coming back. Whoa! Jesus! That's not going in. My brother Chris Goddard has made a map of the route. He's done quite a lot of mapping of routes and books on map work. So he's produced this lovely map. You can download that. There's a link in the description of the video, I think. And yeah, so you can follow each section of it or the whole thing and find the various features along the way. This is that bin bag I found stuffed in a bit of bracken on Hordron stones. I'm going to use it to wrap my fleece in. Oh, thanks, Colin. That's awesome. And it's got a nice ram's head on it. It's missing his fleece, but that's in the car. Thanks. Cheers. Thanks. That's one heck of a run.